I'm Naya, mom, boob nerd, board-certified lactation consultant, and lover of lipstick and curse words. I'm that weird Indian girl you knew in high school, all grown up.
And I'm Alexis, mom, birth nerd, and therapist plus doula, encouraging parents to hold joy plus what the fuck is this mess simultaneously. Some people think I'm too much, but those aren't my people. And we are the Top Knot Squad. TKS is a tiny little podcast about motherhood in real life, the good, the bad, the ugly AF.
Hosted by two women that are passionate about our beliefs and unafraid to speak our minds.
Friends that wanted to create space for all that ish we are too scared to talk about.
Are you ready to laugh, be vulnerable, and keep it real with us?
Top knots are not required.
If the Top Knot Squad content makes you laugh, nod in agreement, or makes you feel less alone, we'd love your support in the cost of producing this podcast. Visit patreon.com/TopKnotSquad to learn more about our budget-friendly sponsorship tiers and how you can help ensure that TKS has a future. Every little bit helps. On this episode, the squad catches up on what the hell we've been up to for the last several weeks. Now that it's March 2021, we've been dealing with this COVID nonsense for a year now, and it's pretty much changed the way that we do everything. Alexis and I have been trying to navigate this as mothers, business owners, employees, friends, all of that. Wives, yeah, let's not forget the husbands there. We've been trying to navigate this whole shit show of 2020 and really so far 2021 as well. So on this episode, we're going to be catching up, chatting through maybe a couple of current-ish events that have been going on, and we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things here on Top Knot Squad.
Yay!
It's good to be back. So yeah, so how are you hanging in there?
I just took a bite of Twizzler. That was a bad idea. It stuck to my teeth. I'm hanging in there. I just went. I'm officially back from maternity leave as of last week. No, this week. Last week. This is week 2 of seeing clients. So I'm balancing that with, I still have the part-time rando job that I started in September, my private practice, trying to keep my trauma talk education platform going with Courtney, my partner Courtney. I'm doing this. You know, apparently I can never just do one thing. So so yeah, that's what I'm doing. And we no longer have a part-time nanny, we have a full-time nanny. So I need to hustle to pay for her.
Yeah. Are you thinking about getting back into doula work, or is that kind of on the back burner while Reese is so little?
Absolutely not. I think that I have hung my doula hat for a while. So it is just, one, I never really did well with being an anxious person, and having to be on call is not actually a good fit. But it's just too close. Now that I have birthed as a professional in the field, and since I had such a negative experience, it's just too triggering. I don't feel ready to enter the systems that continually fail us. I have too much rage. So maybe one day, or maybe if a really special client, a repeat client is having another child, on a case-by-case basis, but long term, we're gonna pause.
Yeah, makes sense. You need to take time to process everything that you've been through, and you've got so much other stuff going on. It's like me when I have too much going on. It's me giving a solid 10% to everything instead of giving it my focus, which we've talked about on 300 episodes in the past.
Totally. Yeah. So what about you?
Well, I'm still saving all the nipples. Still working. I've been working this whole time. Got my vaccine, so both doses, and I'm pretty excited about that and happy about that. Dave has also gotten vaccinated. So we just had our first date night in, I don't even know how long, over the weekend. And it was kind of a shit show, but let's just
your dog.
We went from date night vibes to panic because our dog, by the way, we got a dog. Our dog chewed up she was so mad and I guess anxious about us leaving. She's never really alone. Somebody's always home with her. But she was so mad and anxious about us leaving that she chewed through a blanket and swallowed huge chunks of it. So we went to the emergency vet and sat in the parking lot and tried to fall asleep in his car until like 3:30 in the morning. And so I think by the time we got home, it was 4. And it was, I wouldn't mind staying up until 4 after a date night, but like not doing that, not sitting in the parking lot of an emergency vet. She's fine. We're like several $100s poorer, but she's okay. I guess that's the important thing. But other than that, like my kids are officially back in school now. Today was their second day back. They just went back after spring break was over. And it was because my youngest especially was just having a really hard time with distance learning and virtual learning. It's hard for me as an adult to sit in front of a laptop all day long. I can't imagine doing it as a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, all of that. Zoom fatigue is very real. We as adults feel it and can name it, but kids can't. They just, at least mine would at least just kind of lose his shit. And that was it.
Oh yeah. Rowan's chosen violence. So which I actually don't remember the last episode that aired and like what was happening in our world, honestly. And we could have both still been virtual, but my kids are also back in school. Yeah. Because mine went back. When was that?
I think yours went back in January, right?
Yeah, January, I think. Yeah, but it was a shit show because basically Rowan was there for 4 days and then had a COVID exposure and she had to quarantine. No, it must have been February.
Okay.
Because it was backed up to the ice storm. So
yeah. That's right. Oh, the ice storm. She
basically went to school for 4 days and then was home for like a month.
Oh, geez.
Because quarantine plus ice storm. So yeah, it's been a minute.
It has. Oh my God. I can't believe life has crammed all of this stuff into such a short period of time. Or at least that's how it feels.
And the world is equally.
Oh my God. It's still on fire.
Wild. Yeah. Which I don't know if today I've like felt really heavy. Just, it's like, it's so relentless.
Yesterday felt really heavy for me. I get that.
Yeah. So, which for those listening, these always air later. So it's not going to air today, but there was another shooting at a grocery store in Colorado, and it's just like, what the fuck? It's the end times.
It really is. It's one of those things where I said to Dave, and this is just a dark sense of humor that I have. And it's like, well, how do we know the pandemic's over? We're back to mass shootings again in America.
No,
but the pandemic's
legit.
not over. And, people just should stay home. And I don't know. Yeah, it's been really heavy.
Yeah, Texas opened back up. That was another thing.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So much craziness. And Dave and I, when we were trying to figure out like where to go for our date night, he's like, oh, do you want to go inside? I'm like, no. He's like, let me back up. We looked at all of kind of our usual restaurants that we like to go to for date night in before times, and we couldn't find reservations there. And Dave was like, why don't we just go and sit at the bar? I'm like, are you kidding me? Sit like shoulder to shoulder with somebody else? No, thank you. I'm good. Yeah. I was like, let's find a patio. It'll be super casual. Like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's not a special occasion. It's fine.
Yeah, we're going to all have to go through exposure therapy of like, how the fuck do we people?
Yeah. We, on Tuesday, we got like kind of a sneak peek. We got a date day. The boys were home with, was it spring break? I think it was spring break. And our long-term sitter who was fantastic and we really miss her. She was there with the boys. And so we were like, we're going to go run some errands. We sat on a porch and had like a beer and a pretzel. And we went into REI in downtown Austin. And I don't know if you've been there, Alexis, but it's a pretty big store. It's like two levels. It's pretty, tall. It doesn't really make you feel claustrophobic. They were limiting the number of people that were coming in there, like 1 out, 1 in policy, which was great. But I went in there and I was like, oh my God, there's so many people. And I felt like a little short of breath in my mask. And I'm like, when nobody's around, I'm like holding it slightly away from my face. It was still covering my mouth, but it was like holding it slightly away and feeling like I can catch my breath. And Dave's like, are you okay? I'm like, I might need to go outside. I rallied and I was fine, but it's just being around that many people is weird.
That's very weird. It's going to be very weird to people.
Yeah, we need this. Can we bring on someone to talk about like how to reimmerse ourselves? How to people? Yeah. How do we people after a year at home? Yeah.
That's a good episode.
We should write that down.
I know. But kind of linked to all the things we're talking about, we had kind of said before we met to do this recording that we were both thinking a lot about influencers and how especially white parent influencers, they avoid like all of these things that we're kind of talking about right now, honestly.
Yeah. Masks, they avoid and COVID.
Politics, which
air
is
quotes.
Not like, yeah, air quotes. Yeah, you can't see me, but I did air quotes. They avoid politics, but like it's not politics. It's just like being human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were gonna maybe have a mini convo about that.
Yeah. Something I keep seeing is, I want to keep my Instagram feed or whatever social media channel a positive place. I don't want to bring politics into it. It's so divisive. But here's the thing. Parenting is probably one of the most political things that you can do. Choosing to get pregnant and have a child and carry that child, however, whether it's, gestational parent, surrogacy, IVF, all of those things, it's all political. And then you have the baby and then it's everything from there. Circumcision. Are you going to breastfeed? How are you going to raise your child? Are you going to sleep train? Everything is political.
And public school, private school.
Exactly. All of it. So for them to just kind of put blinders on or rose-colored glasses or whatever you want to call it, I feel like is doing a disservice. And I understand as someone who feels a lot and is a self-described empath, when a lot of these things happen, I along with I think most other people feel it really resonates. And it just kind of, like you said, today felt heavy for you, Alexis. Most days I would say feel heavy for me. And I understand having a place to just not have to think about what's going on in the world. Like that's why I watch The Office on repeat. That's why I watch trash TV and bad reality TV. But I think it's really doing, even those things can get kind of political, quote unquote political. Mm-hmm. I think it's really doing a disservice and really pushing that narrative of social media being a highlight reel, and not discussing these things and not talking about, showing your picture of you with like a Band-Aid on your arm because you got your COVID vaccine, or, sharing that you think it's really dumb for Texas to reopen or whatever. It must be nice. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, yeah, that post you sent me just kind of talked about profit over people, and how it's like the narrative that we see, like what we see in our feeds is like, I care about people. I love everybody and I want this to be a happy place and blah, 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 like what you're describing. But that's really also like to appease certain audiences so that you can make a profit, which is forgetting about many people and the pain that they're enduring. And it's just very minimizing and dismissive.
I agree. And I have to say that that is a big part of why I stopped blogging is I felt icky with all of the links, and I didn't have, I'm never going to have swipe ups in my life, which is fine. But a whole 1,300 followers over here. Woo. And that's fine. But I felt icky with pushing products and, just thinking about capitalism and how fucked up that is and how deeply rooted that is in supremacy and colonialism and all of that. It really made me take pause and reevaluate what I wanted to be and what I wanted my platform to be. And so I thought that, the best thing for me would just kind of be to stop and find a different media, because written word, I don't know that I would be able to type up a lot of the things that we talk about here on this podcast. I don't know if I could give it the due diligence and kind of the space that it needs. But to be honest with you, like all of the sponsored links and shop style and like to know it and all of those, money-making affiliate links, which I get, people have to make a living. You have to get creative in this day and age, especially if you work in like the restaurant industry or the music industry or something like that. And it's been deeply affected by COVID. But I have such, I don't know, for me personally, it's not the direction that I wanted to go in.
Well, I definitely fall for it. I click mini and Instagram and sad shop. So it also works, which sucks.
You call it sad shopping, but honestly, it's something to look forward to.
No, it's not okay. That's what that's capitalism, right?
I know.
It's tying into our pain. It's capitalizing on our pain.
It is.
It is. That's the epitome of what that is, right?
Yeah. So I talk like I'm better than that, but clearly I'm not, because I am buying all kinds of shit on Amazon or, whatever, whoever's link catches my fancy.
I click mini a link. But yeah, I think, so that's one, I'm not saying one, I have a few thoughts. One is I quit blogging almost because of the opposite of what you were saying is I was censored. So I wrote for Austin Mom's blog, and I wrote a post about racism, and they said it was too political and that they wouldn't publish it. So I ended up shopping it around, and another platform picked it up and shared it, which of course I'm a troll, and I made a point to comment on lots of their threads and tell them what I think about their life. And they've started to make some changes that feel very performative, very token. But this is all related. I promise I have a point. But I left writing because of that. It was just very discouraging, and it felt like to be successful writing as a blogger or an influencer or whatever, you could only write. I couldn't write about what I wanted to write about, right? And I would never be successful if I did. That's what it felt like. And so it was very discouraging. But I also think that it's not just that, I don't necessarily think that all those people are bad. I don't think that every influencer, white parent, mother influencer is a bad human. I think that they have a lot of discomfort. I think that they have a lot of work to do, and they don't want to do it, and it feels very uncomfortable to do that, and they're scared. And that's not okay. My goal is always to challenge, this is lifelong work. If you're white, every single one of us is racist, and we have a lot of work to do, period. But we want to distance ourselves from those terms because it's scary, and that means I'm a bad person. Mm-hmm. But I think it's helpful to differentiate that no, I'm racist. I'm not a bad person, but I definitely have a history and generations of folks that did harmful things, and that's passed down whether it's intentional or not.
Yeah. And I think a lot of other people do too, but I think it's just that's they're not quite ready for that level of what's the word? I can't word today. I can't people, I can't word, I can't adult. What am I doing? I can't do anything. Yeah. It's almost like they're not ready for that level of responsibility isn't quite the right word, but just owning up to saying, I don't know everything. Actions that I may have taken in the past, or the actions that I've taken in the past may have been harmful to others. I may be, it
will keep happening. Yeah. Like, I'm not perfect. I fuck up all the time.
No, me too. We buy random shit. We support capitalism. But I just felt like
it's like,
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say I just felt like I don't know, and this is my own thing, and this is my own discomfort, my own shit that I need to work through. But it's one of those things where I feel better as a consumer consuming things and buying things because I feel sad than I do as somebody telling people to buy things, if that makes any sense at all. But I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just as complicit. Maybe in my mind it's, it's not as bad, but maybe it is in real life. I don't know. Again, it's my own shit I got to work through.
Well, yeah, I think that's the overall point, is that every single one of us has work to do. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's very uncomfortable. But it's necessary.
It is.
Things are not going to look different. I feel like our conversation has kind of come full circle now. Like how we talked about, we feel heavy about the world and how it's constantly on fire and there's all this pain and tragedy. And it's like, this is directly linked to what we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's never going to be different if we don't all start engaging in the work.
Very much so.
Sucks. I just made like a pouty face, like, ugh.
Yeah, it does. And it does feel heavy. And I think it's okay. And I know that this is a very privileged thing to be able to say, that sometimes we need to take a break from doing the work in order to keep going. There is a quote that we've shared from somebody at some point in some episode that touches on that, and I can't even think about it right now, or I can't think of who it is or what it is. But again, to be able to say, oh, I'm going to stop doing the work. I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to take a few hours off. I'm going to take a day off, whatever, and watch trash TV, go on TikTok for forever, and then just come back to it the next day is not something that everybody's able to do or even able to say. And so I think
I really like Nap Ministry. Do you follow Nap Ministry?
I don't think I do. Let me fix that right now.
That's the name of them. They talk about that. I mean, yeah, we're all human beings. Like we only have our nervous systems only have the capacity to hold so much. So doing the work while constant and lifelong does not mean like you're going to have to take mental health breaks. Like you're a human being. Your system physically cannot hold all the pain.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Nap Ministry, I want to find them because they talk about the link with capitalism and rest and how like we're not able to rest.
Here's a good one. I just pulled it up on my laptop because I wasn't following them and I'm going to fix them. Your obsession with productivity as a function of your worth is preventing you from tending to your soul. Naps are soul care. And then the caption talks about the obsession comes from your brainwashing via capitalism and white supremacy. You have been trained to believe your entire existence is to do, be, and make. The lie of productivity, in quotes, is a scam. We have been uplifting this from the beginning. It's time to deprogram. It's time to rest. So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that that profile.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Well, somehow when we were talking about recording this episode, like we were like, oh, it'll just be us chatting and like catching up. And we managed to talk about the heaviest shit ever.
Oh my God, what's wrong with us?
So go us.
Yeah. But again, I think a lot of this just comes from where we are in time and in the world, and between, the uprising at the Capitol and COVID, and how everything seems so politically divided. It's really sweet to say that we want people to come together, but there's just some differences that I feel like we cannot overcome, and that we cannot look past, and people don't get a free pass for doing certain things. I don't know what those things are going to vary from person to person. They're going to vary on any political party, or with every political party, but there's just some things like I can't let go, or some things that are just deal breakers for me.
Yeah, human rights.
Exactly. Yeah. The wild idea that everybody should be treated equally.
Yeah, being human.
Yeah.
Like, can we care about humans? Because our world doesn't. But, well, maybe we can wrap up by talking about what's to come, like what our plan is for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
We brainstormed some topics that we would like to talk about, but we also are open to any topics that our listeners are looking for. But we have record dates scheduled through September. And our hope is to get 12 episodes out this season. And then we also are in the midst of planning a virtual event for post Mother's Day.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So we're going to pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Shit, Alexis, I think this means that we have to start updating our Instagram again.
Oh, God. Yeah, we do have to do that. Gosh, that's such a lift.
I know.
Do you know that I have like 4 Instagram accounts?
Same.
Why? What are we doing to ourselves?
I don't know. We need to just read the nap ministry and take rest. I think that's it.
Totally. But yeah, we've got some exciting things that we're going to kick off season 4 and keep bringing you guys some good content. And we promise that not every episode will be completely winging it, and we'll have experts talking to you about things you want to learn.
And hopefully we won't have all heavy episodes either. Hopefully we'll be able to come up. I think all of our episodes are kind of heavy for right now, the ones that we've planned. But we got 12 of them, so we can come up with some light stuff in there too. Like, I don't know what, but we'll come up with it. And we're always open to your suggestions.
What even is the Top Knot Squad if we're not talking about heavy shit? That's our whole tagline.
That's we need to change our tagline to the heavy shit.
Actually, what is our tagline?
Motherhood in real life, the bad and the ugly. Yeah. Yes. We're just focusing on the bad and the ugly a lot lately. But yeah.
Well, we're excited.
Yes. Feels good to get back into this, and stay tuned. We've got a lot of awesome stuff coming up.
Yay. If the Top Knot Squad's content makes you laugh, nod in agreement, or makes you feel less alone, we'd love your support in the cost of producing this podcast. Visit patreon.com/TopKnotSquad to learn more about our budget-friendly sponsorship tiers and how you can help ensure that TKS has a future. Every little bit helps.
If you like what you hear, then be sure to click the subscribe button in your podcast app. While you're there, leave us a review. You can find us on social media. Just search for Top Knot Squad. We welcome your feedback and love making new friends.